Hi, everybody. This is Douglas V. Gibbs, Mr. Constitution. Welcome to my video channel. And it was 13 years ago when I began teaching the U.S. Constitution, teaching Constitution classes in Temecula, California. And since then, my efforts have exploded thanks to a number of factors that includes people assisting me along the way. Yeah, and at that moment, I was not considered to be some constitutional scholar. It was understood that I was not some academic who had received a piece of paper that showing that I had been a good student who regurgitated the information I was informed to accept. I was not a lawyer or a politician. I was simply an individual who had spent much of his life studying the U.S. Constitution, and I desired to share what I had learned with other Americans. It turned out that I know a lot more about the Constitution than the average American, and as a result, folks have they've eaten it up. I became a hit, and the classes flourished. Truth be told, the Constitution is not a very complex document. It was written so that the average person could understand it. Alexis de Tocqueville, when he visited the United States in the 1830s, was amazed at how well versed Americans were when it came to civics, and even the illiterate understood the basic principles regarding their government here in America and basic principles of their liberty. It didn't take a scholar or a lawyer to understand the basic foundation upon which our system of liberty had been placed. Now, I am a rarity. Most people don't know even a small portion of what I know regarding constitutionalism. My efforts angered the liberal left, and it angers them today. And the liberal left, progressive socialist types out there. And so immediately I found myself being attacked by them. They would ask me if I am a lawyer, and as if going to law school is the only path to constitutional knowledge and understanding. No, I have learned to reply. And that is why I understand the Constitution. And when I give that answer, conservatives laugh and, progressive lefties are confused. My educational background has also become an issue in the past. How could someone know what they are talking about regarding anything if they haven't gone through the indoctrination centers known as universities and colleges? In truth, I bypassed a promising college opportunity and instead to get to jump into life, I decided to do it very quickly with a child, a wife, and an enlistment in the United States Navy. The same summer I graduated from high school, and when running for city council, and way back in 2010, a potential donor asked me about my educational background, and I quipped, you probably know my professors, James Madison, Benjamin Franklin. The woman laughed and donated with full confidence that I was the candidate she wanted to support. I was on a radio program on AM 590 years and years and years ago also, and I debated a constitutional professor from University of Redlands and a constitutional lawyer on natural born citizen. It was regarding Ted Cruz back in the 2016 primary. And when in the parking lot afterwards, gravel parking lot, I'm walking to my car, and the constitutional professor from University of Redlands walks up to me and says, I've never come across anybody who knows as much about history and the Constitution as you do. You've got to have what? At least a master's, right? And I said, no, I've got some night school classes under my belt, but I never have gotten my degree. And he was stunned. Now, the truth is, I am self-taught. I have studied the writings of the founding fathers, and I have a knack for the English language. So through my studies, I've deciphered the confusion the liberal left has created regarding the U.S. Constitution so that I may present its original meaning through my classes, events, and online outlets and so forth. I don't expect to get rich doing this, but I do expect to enlighten my fellow Americans, and hopefully to the point that they are more willing to engage in the political arena more so than we have in the past. We are under assault, and in reality, we are in an all-hands-on-deck kind of situation. Now, like Karl Marx and Frederick Engels and the liberal left progressive Democrats of today are convinced that the rise of a socialist society is inevitable. Whatever people might do, whatever they believe, the struggle for socialism will achieve an inevitable victory. Got their fist up to do it. Be it inch by inch or through a sudden revolution, Their dreams of a collective society of communism and communalism or communitarianism, utopianism, that's what the founders called it, that is the future of America. In their demand that socialism overturns capitalism, certain truths have arisen. The opposition has belief systems that stand in the way of the revolution. So those things must be quelled and ultimately eliminated. Things like a belief in God, individualism, a desire to possess things, and a bitter clinging desire to hang on to guns and liberty, well, that stands in the way of the revolution. So Marx instilled some people in among some of his people into believing, the same thing that the liberal left progressives today believe, to again continue to embrace that philosophers have interpreted the world in various ways. The point, however, is to change it, because change for any reason is good, right? Revolutions are the locomotives of history, and the meaning of peace is the absence of opposition to socialism. So that means, to the mind of the leftists, that the opposition must be silenced and ultimately done away with. Any way is a good way. The Saul Alinsky method is to ridicule them into silence, or to demand perfection in the adherence of one's belief system. But most of all, when it comes to matters of politics or the law, the belief that only a ruling elite, a special upper class of individuals, are capable of knowing anything about it. If you are just a peasant, shut your mouth and only perform peasant things. The truth is, they don't understand us. They don't understand individualism. They don't understand how someone without a proper indoctrination by academia and the legal case law industry could possibly know anything about the United States Constitution. So, which, by the way, no longer exists as it once did. Now it is determined by a complicated web of judicial opinion, political discourse, because these people are, as Disney recently said about Kamala Harris in the Making Her Story special for kids, they are a part of a divine group of leaders. This is what Disney said about Kamala, a part of a divine group of leaders. They believe in the ruling elite. It reminds me of something called the general will. The general will was an idea that Alexander Hamilton and Jean-Jacques Rousseau believed in. And the general will basically taught that the will of the people was not seen or understood by the people. But don't worry, there's a ruling elite, there's a ruling class, there's a ruling whatever, nobility people out there that recognize that will of the people, that general will, and they'll impose it upon the public, for the community good, for the good of the community, for common good. And that to go against it by the people, well, that they must then, if they go against it, if they oppose it, then they can be restrained by the body politic. Because as Jean-Jacques Rousseau once said, sometimes people must be forced to be free. Now, I say all of this because of attacks I've gotten lately. There's one guy named Oren out there who's, all over the place. And basically he began his conversation with me by calling me a nut job and then told me he wanted to have a debate with me. Why would I debate somebody who opens up their communication with me by calling me a nut job? So I decided not to do it. Now, he has since sent me all kinds of text messages and emails attacking me and criticizing me and calling me an idiot and whatever. And then he and another person that goes by Frank Anastasio on YouTube, what they do is they leave and they do this on politicalpistachio.com also, is they leave a comment. And then after they leave the comment, they erase it. What that does is it makes it so it's not available for everybody else to see, but I get to see it in my email. Now, I don't know if they're erasing the comment because that's just a tactic they do, or because they realize what they wrote was in error. It was wrong. I want to read you the latest from the Frank Anastasio one to give you an idea of the type of stuff they write and allow me to say something about it, because, see, they don't understand. They don't understand individualism. They don't understand that if it isn't for the ruling class, you can't know anything. Apparently, you're dumb if they don't teach you. Who told this guy or any of you that this guy, Doug Gibbs, who is a gravel hauler for a living, is any kind of authority on the Constitution? He's just some guy who never went to college, has no legal experience or education, and picks up rocks for a living. Why do you guys think his personal opinions from his basement matter at all? So first of all, I'm not a gravel hauler. I did drive a Santa gravel truck for 6 years. Between 2008 and 2014. I was in construction for about 14 years before that. And yes, I dug ditches for a living. So I've dug ditches and picked up rocks, I guess you could say. And yet I know more than you about the Constitution, buddy. Now, I don't know if that's a chop against people who do manual labor. So you think anybody who drives a big rig or hauls gravel or works construction is just an idiot? They're stupid. Do you realize that you're offending a large portion of the American public? And you think that these gravel haulers, after they're done hauling their gravel, at the end of the day, go home and then they just pick up some more rocks and they don't really learn anything. They just, eat their gravel dinner and they wake up with their gravel breakfast and then they haul their gravel all day. Is that your thinking? So what that is a narcissism. He's placed himself or the people he puts his faith in above everybody else. That's not what America is about. There is no nobility here. There is no preference class. That's the reason why Jefferson wrote in the Declaration of Independence, all men are created equal, meaning there's no nobility. There's no elite. Even a peasant can read and understand the Constitution. Even a peasant can have a copy of the Bible or whatever else they want to learn and learn about it. Even a peasant. And the peasant, if they teach themselves, they work hard enough, won't be a peasant much longer because they'll rise up in this system to become something else. In the system that the left is pushing for, peasants remain peasants forever. The other part is just some guy who never went to college. Well, I know an awful lot of very intelligent people that never went to college, and I know a lot of idiots that did. Piece of paper that basically said you regurgitated what the professors who are far left Marxist and don't care about you learning anything, and you regurgitate what they told you, that somehow makes you an expert. They don't teach critical thinking anymore. They tell you what to think and how to think. See, I'm a critical thinker. I'm going way beyond what's being taught, and I'm breaking it down. I'm breaking down the language, and I'm telling you from the writings of the founding fathers what they meant, regardless of what the professors and the idiots out there say. And somehow that means I'm less educated. I'm more educated than most of the educated people I know. I'm self-educated. I have studied from my professors, Benjamin Franklin, James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, Roger Sherman, so forth. And I'm not in my basement. This is my home office. Was my daughter's bedroom at one time. We don't have basements in California, but see, you're an idiot, so you don't know that. In California, I don't know anybody has a basement in California. I'm sure there are somewhere. So some idiot some guy in his basement. Well, see, I guess that's an attack towards people who have basements. If you have a basement, I guess you go down there and say stupid things. I don't know. But anyway, my point is this: the U.S. Constitution was written for you. The reason why I'm attacked this way, and the reason why the founding fathers are attacked, and history is attacked, and statues are toppled, is because people like this guy, Frank Anastasio, and Oren Kugler would like you to believe that if the person is flawed, if there's flaws in the person, if there's any shortcomings, then anything and everything they believe or teach is flawed. So the founding fathers, if they're flawed also, the whole system is flawed. Well, I have news for you, folks. Everyone's flawed. We all have flaws. Of course, the founding fathers have flaws. We have flaws. I have flaws. We all have flaws. In the book of Romans in the Bible, it says that all have fallen short of the glory of God. We're flawed. And you know what? Every single human system is flawed as well. There are flaws because it's a human system. But as Winston Churchill said about the American system is the worst system in the world except for all others. Sure, it's got flaws, but it has prospered. It has done better than any other system in history. Why? Because of liberty, because of the free market, because of this, the U.S. Constitution. We follow those original principles, and we will get back to a nearly flawless existence as a country. Right now, we are very flawed, not because of the Constitution, but because we have abandoned its original principles. And because we listen to knuckleheads like you guys who think you have to be an academic or a legal guy in order to understand anything. And to be honest with you, that's not what it takes. All it takes is the willingness to learn. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here on Douglas V. Gibbs Daily Dose. I appreciate you watching. I've got other videos I'm in the making. I made one not too long ago about capitation in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution on my Constitution study page. Go to douglasvgibbs.com or politicalpistachio.com and find the video link for that on that page. Or I've got classes, got 6 classes going on locally in Southern California. I'm working with a group back in the Great Lakes area to get something online permanently, a class that we do and I'm updating the curriculum. I'm doing all kinds of work to get that ready. So there's a lot of good stuff on the horizon, despite what our legal left attackers may say. Thanks for watching. United we stand, combined we kick butt. God bless America, my friends. God bless you. We'll see you next time. Thanks.